Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It is me, Curly K Glam, and I'm here today to bring you another video. Okay, so I'm re-recording this video for the second time. But before I get started, if you're interested in this hair, this is Kasia from the Janet collection, Natural Me, and it is in a color DR. It's not honey brown. That's the Nisha's color. Y'all, I'm gonna leave the color down below because I swear it just slipped my mind just now. But yes, y'all, this is a nice kinky straight wig. I do have a review on this. I don't know if it will be up by the time this video is up, but if it is up, go check it out because she is a must buy. Okay, sis? Okay. So I'm gonna make it brief because I don't think I want to talk about Moesha that long. I think, now that I'm approaching 30, I'm in my late 20s, and now that I'm watching Moesha as an adult, I don't think I was as fond of the show as I thought I was when I was younger. And I think the reason why I thought that I was, into the show is because when Moesha came out, I was probably, when I first started seeing Moesha reruns, I think I was approaching my preteens. So Moesha has probably been out. I know Moesha's been off air at least 20 years, and I'm 28. So, like I said, I was approaching my adolescent years when Moesha came out, and they just look so popping to me because they were teenagers, they were hanging out, they were in high school. They went to all the parties. They had people on there such as 112, Montel Jordan. They had Lisa Leslie on there. They had Usher. Of course, they had Q from Onyx. His name is Fredro Starr, but he played Q. He was from Onyx. And of course, they went to concerts and everything. And then the show began to transition as Moesha was going to college, which is fine. Kim was my favorite character probably out of all the characters. And it's sad to know that, Kim, Countess, which is Kim's real name, it's a shame to know that Countess and Brandy didn't get along on set, which is, what led to her departure and her getting a spinoff of the Parkers. There was an online debate going on which was better, the Parkers or Moesha, and I'm definitely going to have to go with the Parkers. And I just want to say that I'm excited that the Parkers is finally on Netflix because I've never got to see probably every episode of the Parkers, but I'll see once I start watching it on TV, on Netflix. But come turn out, I think I got up to season 4 of Moesha, and it was 6 seasons on there, and Moesha got really difficult for me to complete. And so I'm just gonna, give this review because I know what's gonna happen afterward. I just wanted to see everything leading up to Moesha getting in college. Okay, so as you know, the series ended on a cliffhanger. For some reason, around the 5th or 6th season, Black sitcoms always go through this, and I hate it because it's just like they never ever get a real good chance to finish. And now that I've watched Different World, even though I'm not reviewing that, I watched Hang with Mr. Cooper, I've watched Living Single, which those, anyway, like I was saying. So what was I even saying? Lord, I done got interrupted. Oh yeah, what I was saying was it's common with Black sitcoms. Girlfriends even had it now. I have not seen all of Girlfriends, so I will be watching that on Netflix as well because I just seen the episodes that they showed on TV during rerun season, but I haven't seen all episodes of Girlfriends. But Moesha just got incredibly difficult to watch. I feel like the show began as a fun, lighthearted family sitcom, and then towards probably the 4th season, Moesha just got too serious. It wasn't lighthearted anymore, and Frank became like this very authoritative dad. Not to say that parents should not be the authoritarian with their children, but Frank became somewhat like a dictator. And I know Moesha was partially to blame, but I just feel like his character was written to be too hard on Moesha. I know Frank did have some difficulty raising Moesha, seeing as though he was a widower. But when D came, D kind of played the middleman in between him and Moesha sometimes. But for the most part, when Moesha got into the relationship with Q, I felt like, you know, of course, being an old female and, you know, going through that phase. I can remember the first time I, like, thought I was in love with a guy, and then you would just, you know, do whatever to, you know, seem like you was pleasing him. And, like, you know, I'm not to say that, you know, you did anything that you regret, because I've never done anything, you know, that I would feel like I regret. But, you know, like, he was never giving her a chance to make an error and learn from her lesson. He always tried to prevent it, which made her go out and do things that, you know, displeased him. Like, I know, like, sometimes to me, and I don't have children, but, you know, I can just, you know, relate growing up in that age. Like, I just felt like, you know, she needed time to grow. She was growing, and she was learning the world, you know. She was learning to navigate the world, because she was in that weird 17, I'm not a grown, but I'm a teenager, but I'm not that young anymore. And so, you know, it did, I don't know. The show did have some good points, though. Like, it talked about, you know, the Alzheimer's disease. It talked about teen pregnancy, of course. It talked about, you know, infidelity in a family. It talked about, you know, children dealing with the death of their parent, because, you know, Moesha dealt with the death of her mom, and, you know, her and Dee kind of had a riff in the beginning. So the show was very, very relatable. Also, they need to give my sis Niecy more credit, because Niecy held her weight, you know what I'm saying? Because in the beginning, they just, you know, threw her in there just to, you know, as a placeholder. But then, you know, Niecy became to hold her own. I think once Dorian came in the picture, I wasn't totally against Dorian being in the picture, but I was against the way they placed him in the story. Instead of saying that Dorian was Frank's outside child, they could have just simply made Dorian the nephew that came to live with them. They didn't have to make him be a child of scandal. Like, it just totally threw off the show. And I remember watching Unsung, because they did one with Shirley Ralph, who played Dee, and she was talking about how it broke her heart when the writers got to that point, because she totally disagreed. She said her and the guy who played Frank, I can't remember his name right now, but they tried to, you know, go back and forth with the writers and the directors on the creative direction of the show, because they felt like Moesha was giving. Okay, so back to what I was saying. I'm sorry, y'all. I keep getting interrupted during this video. I'm going to finish this video because, you know, like I said, this is a re-record, period. So, like I was saying, the Frank and Dee, they felt like the show, you know, with it being a black sitcom, they felt like the show, you know, was showing a different dynamic, and showing that, you know, people who are black are not monolithic when they play roles on TV. And so they want to give something different. Of course, this is post Cosby Show, so, you know, they were trying to show images of positive black family on television. And during this time that Moesha was on TV, there were a lot of popular black sitcoms. So Moesha had a special place, you know, in terms of black TV history, especially in the 90s, with the 90s being like this golden era, and with Brandy, like, being as influential as she was, because of course we know her as an R&B artist, but Brandy did slide into mogul lane when she became Cinderella, and when she did the movie Double Platinum with Diana Ross, and when she had her own doll. Like, her playing Cinderella was a whole movement. Brandy even had a doll, you know what I'm saying? So they just felt like the show took a left. And I feel like with the show ended up on a cliffhanger, they not knowing who was pregnant, and then Miles was going through this whole seeking attention thing. I just felt like it wasn't fair. And I felt like you know, in terms of Moesha going to college, they definitely could have flipped that, because they they could have just did better, like, with the plot overall. And I feel like if, you know, TV shows couldn't get that platform, like with the networks and everything, the networks were changing, and then shows were going back and forth between different networks, and the whole viewership thing. I just feel like had all that aired on BET in the first place, it would have been fine. We wouldn't have nothing to worry about, because it was other shows that aired on BET that did really, really well. And so I just feel like it just would have been different. And, you know, BET eventually did pick up BET and Centric, you know, and BET Her did eventually pick up, you know, Moesha reruns. But it's just the fact of the matter that, you know, like, first these creators make these shows, and then the show gets popular, but then they never give the fans that rightful ending. And I just feel like Moesha was one of those shows. I feel like, you know, as a viewer, we were robbed of, like, the experience, because we did all that to watch her develop as a character over that period. And then, you know, so what? I feel like we got a big so what. We gave you enough. So what? So, you know, that's my take on Moesha. I didn't necessarily learn anything new on Moesha. I did get to see how her and Q's relationship organically started. I do feel like Q, you know, did love Moesha, but Q was just caught up in his own grind, and, you know, she eventually had to learn that as a woman, you know, she definitely did Hakeem wrong, though. Hakeem loved her. He really did. Like, he really did. And he just wronged her. I mean, she wronged him, too. So, yeah, y'all, that's all for Moesha. Of course, there were some things, you know, during Moesha that happened, like with the whole jokes and everything. It was a lot of, quite a few lines in episodes that were deemed inappropriate now that were, you know, okay then. But time change, you know, we evolve as people, we grow and we learn different things, and thank God for progression is all I can say. But yeah, y'all, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will be back with more videos. Deuces.